Hey guys, welcome to Scratching the Dirt. I'm Nikki and this is the Carnivore vlog. I am no longer counting the number of days, but I'm about 6 3/4 months into the carnivore. Next Monday is going to be my 7-month carniversary. So that's where we are as far as how deep into this we're in. And I want to talk about something today that is, of course, I'm going to rat on myself a little bit, but I'm not really sure how to explain this. So let me just start at the beginning, I guess. I've had some things I talked about last week, I think, how I took the cheese out, and I was talking about getting on an airplane and wanting to drop a little extra weight before then. And so what had happened was I got a little bit, I think, too focused on freaking out about the idea of plane seats and dropping the weight really fast. And I do think I put too much pressure on myself for that. So I had a day a few days ago where I started researching like what's going on with the weight loss stall, like what can I do? And I'm a fan. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I am a fan of ChatGPT. I like to go into ChatGPT and ask questions and add variables and just see, because sometimes it helps me think outside of just my focused, stubborn ways, because I do latch onto ideas sometimes and it can be difficult to break me out of those. So I'm aware of that. So I use this as a way to kind of get me to think about things differently. So what I found was that, according to this ChatGPT conversation, there could be multiple things that could be causing a weight loss stall, including, but not limited to, I'm just at the kind of number of months where a lot of people see this happen. It could also be the fact that I eat processed meat. So I do eat beef sticks. I do eat sausage. It could be that I'm letting too far go in between feeding myself. One meal a day does not work for me, and I tend to eat early in the morning and then not again until in the evening. That's why I eat the meat sticks in the middle of the day. It could also be, whether I like it or not, the artificial sweeteners in the zero sugar drinks that I drink. It could be all kinds of things, lots of different things that could be happening here. And so I tried to get really honest with myself and pick one thing to focus on that I could fix. So I, of course, picked the thing that I think, even though it's, for me, probably the hardest. Well, I don't know. I think the zero sugar drinks is probably the actual hardest one for me to address. I don't see myself not drinking those. But maybe the first or second hardest, they might be tied for first place. Hardest thing to deal with is that one likely culprit is sleep. I am a lifelong struggler with sleep. Part of that is because of my racing brain that I've always had, which has calmed down on the carnivore. And part of that is that I don't like to go to sleep. I like sleeping, but I don't like to go to sleep. I don't like getting up and going to bed. Regardless of how tired I am, regardless of what time it is, regardless of what time I have to get up in the morning. And I was doing really well at the beginning of carnivore, going to bed at 10:30 every single night. I get up at 6:30 in the morning. It was working for me. I was getting more consistent sleep than I've ever gotten in my whole life. And something switched a few weeks ago. All of a sudden, I found myself wanting to stay up later, wanting to just either sit on the phone or watch something on Netflix or just do anything other than go to bed and get the sleep I need. So this is something that I know about myself. I know this has been an issue for me. It's not just that I can't sleep, it's that I choose not to sleep. And I don't know what that is. Some wiring in the brain, something. I usually consider that a signal that something is off. Either I've got some sort of inner turmoil that I am avoiding, or I've got something in my life that is stressing me out and I don't want to end the day. I don't know what it is. I really don't. I haven't quite gotten to the bottom of that. So all of that is really just a long-winded way to get around to the fact that I'm not sleeping enough. I'm back to, 5 or 6 hours a night, and that's just not enough. And so I was trying to come up with a way to think of this, to get my brain to understand that sleep is important, that I need to make the choice to get my butt up and go to bed and get the sleep I need, because I know that I'm going to more easily fall asleep than I ever have before, because Carnivore has given that to me. I no longer have to be like, well, I don't want to go lay in bed for a few hours and just not be able to sleep. That's not really a thing for me anymore. It's just the actual act of ending the day and going to bed. So I had this thing pop into my head. So we're going to kind of like stop there, and then I'm going to talk about something that's going to sound completely different. But I started thinking about my Granny's tomato sauce. So at the time of her passing, Granny had never written down her tomato sauce recipe. And there are people in the family that have tried to recreate it, right? And it's one of those things where you can get close, but you never quite get there because you don't have her recipe. So we know the basic ingredients, right? An Italian tomato sauce is what it is. And then there are things that Granny put in there that aren't in every tomato sauce. But without her recipe, we're never going to recreate the exact sauce. It's just, and maybe you can't recreate it at all because it's not her making it. Right. So I started thinking about the sauce, and I started thinking about the carnivore diet. And if I think of the carnivore diet as the sauce, bear with me. I'm going to try to make this make sense. If the carnivore diet is the sauce, right, that means that every single person that's trying to make the sauce, right, do the sauce, is going to do it differently. They have different hormones. They have different histories in their body. They have different medical histories. They have different eating habits, sleeping habits, behavior patterns, all of these different things. And what I was trying to do was, instead of trying to make Nikki sauce, I was trying to make Granny sauce. I was trying to take all of the just basic information about carnivore and the idea that you eat meat and butter and eggs and everything's going to be wonderful, and apply it to myself without considering all of the different ingredients that go into Nikki's carnivore diet, Nikki sauce. So Nikki sauce doesn't have enough sleep in it. Nikki sauce has too much processed meat in it. Nikki sauce has artificial sweeteners in it. Nikki sauce has cheese and then no cheese, depending on where she's at in her brain. And so the problem, I think, for me is that I'm so focused on getting the sauce instead of just being grateful for my sauce. There are wonderful things about the carnivore, and I talk about them all the time. But I think that we also have to be really careful about the content we consume and the way we internalize that and the way we turn that into expectations. Because I think what I had done was I had consumed a lot of content, I had internalized it, and had turned it into expectations that carnivore was a magic pill, the thing that's going to fix everything. And I never stopped to consider whether or not my carnivore-ish approach was the right thing for me, for my body. Now, please don't get it twisted here. I'm not changing anything right now. I'm happy with the results I've seen as far as my food. I'm going to continue to eat the processed meat stacks. I got to do what I have to do to get through the day. And for now, I'm not trying to battle any of that. I'm not trying to battle my addiction / love of 0-calorie drinks. I'm not going after any of that stuff. I am, however, going to try to go after the sleep, because sleep seems to be the leading cause of so many things, regardless of how you eat, that it seems like the biggest monster to kill first, right? It seems like the biggest obstacle to get past for me. And so I want to knock that one out first. To be fair, I had this realization several days ago, and I still got in bed at midnight last night. I know that I'm not doing a very good job of doing what I told myself I was going to do. I know what I need to do, and sleep needs to be the next obstacle I tackle. So that's where I'm at. I'm gonna work really hard to figure out what's going on, why I don't want to sleep, so that I can then go to sleep, right? Like, I know it seems super easy. You might be thinking, well, just get up and go to bed. But there's something emotional attached there. There's something I'm getting, whether I know it or not, by avoiding sleep. And so I have to figure that out. And then once I can figure that out, then I can deal with that, and I can start sleeping more and more consistently again. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep going, right? I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I feel good, with the exception of the fact that I am a little more tired, but I'm not getting enough sleep. So that makes sense to me. So that's where we're at. That's where I am. This is what's actually happening with me in the carnivore. I'd love to kind of come to you every week and report that everything's wonderful and I've lost 1,000,000 pounds and I feel great and I'm doing cartwheels, and it's not. This is a battle, right? Carnivore is not a magic pill. Again, like I always say, the benefits outweigh any drawbacks. And so I'm going to keep going. But hopefully, I'll start sleeping a little more. I'll get closer to 8 hours a night again. So I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know. I've already had a busy morning. I have a really busy day today. So hopefully tonight I will wear myself down and I can get up at 10:30 out of the living room and then go to bed, and we'll see. We'll just start. I think I just have to do the first night, right? And then I can start the ball rolling. So hopefully that will be tonight. But that's where my focus is right now for the carnivore. It's on getting sleep and trying to course correct one of the ingredients of my sauce that's off balance. That's what I'm doing. Working on Nikki sauce. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my weird roundabout way of explaining why I need to go to bed. So like the video if you like listening to me ramble about my sauce, and subscribe if you want to keep up with me and see where we go next with the carnivore. I appreciate you spending some time with me. I hope you have a wonderful week. I am going to go have a busy day and try to wear myself out and go to bed on time. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.